laptop.
That's good audio, that's for sure. All right, so we have in front of us, I guess, what is currently the draft for the Mendon Food Code regulations that we're looking to finalize.
Correct.
And Dan, do you want to kind of do a little intro or speak on it a bit?
Sure thing. So these regulations were created in partnership with the other 7 towns of the Blackstone Valley Partnership, with the intended goal to sort of standardize the way that food operations are done across the towns to kind of better encourage businesses from that are operating in one town to operate in the others, since they would know what to expect. They would have consistent paperwork, consistent requirements, and consistent inspections. Most of the regulations are codifying things that Mendon is already doing. So they would specify requirements for applications for a food establishment. They would outline specific documents that would be required for mobile food establishments versus, fixed. Some discussion about grease traps, specific information about what is required of anybody who wants to be selling frozen dessert in accordance with the state regulations of the same sort. And finally, there's just a recommended fee structure, which basically is fairly standard. I believe a majority of the abutting towns do something of the sort, where everyone gets 2 inspections a year. That's paid for by their permit. Everyone is allowed a free reinspection if there are violations that need to be corrected, and that correction needs to be confirmed. But if those violations are not corrected, there's another reinspection, at which point there is an accompanying fee, with the justification being that now you have to pay your inspector to go back to a place instead of sending them to their next scheduled inspection. I could go into more specific detail if you'd like, but that's the basic gist of it.
Okay, yep, thank you. That's very good.
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
I see that there's a copy of every choke saver certification. Do we do that teaching of the Heimlich?
I don't believe that the health department at this time offers that. I know some fire departments will on occasion do so, but I know that the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association on their websites will detail classes. But that one is a requirement with the state in any case. So it's more just making sure that by the regulations in part are meant to consolidate information to make it easier for folks to know what it is that they need when they come to Mendon or any of the other outlying towns. So rather than have to look at 3 different state regulations and specifics, it's all just listed here.
That's what I did. Got everybody in every restaurant. Heimlich.
It's a good thing to know. Yep.
I had my little dolls.
Well, I'm all for being consistent. I think it's a great idea. Is there anyone that's called in to have any particular questions or comments they'd like to make? Not seeing any. Lonnie, is there anything you have any?
No, sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, I know we've kind of gone back and forth on this a little bit. I think it's a pretty good outline. I know we're absent one of our board members, so I don't know if at this point you'd want to wait until we have a full board to do any kind of voting to accept? If there's anything about the draft that,
I don't know. I mean, I think that we could vote on it and if we both agree.
Yeah, if you both agree.
Yeah,
Then even if he
Mhm.
didn't agree, he would be,
right,
and he was here.
no,
I think it's a live document too. You can always make an adjustment afterwards. if you want
Right,
to.
Correct.
right, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'd be in favor of moving forward with what we're looking at.
yeah, me as well. I think it's very conclusive and it's got
Yep.
good, all those good ideas and
So is there a motion?
Dan, it was a great outline. Thank you very much for putting it together.
I move we
Uh,
accept.
What I'll do then is I will
Thank you.
step down and make a motion
Okay,
to accept the proposed men and food code regulations as presented.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. So carried.
that was easy.
Thank you, Dan.
Is there anything else, Dan, you wanted to add or to mention?
No, not at all. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, great. Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Dan.
Dan. Thank you.
Good job.
Have a good night.
You too.
Like that.
Wasn't water bottle, what? No.
No. If you want some more.
You did on that.
What?
Very good.
No, I think good.
All right, next up on the agenda, we have second item is trash and recycling services discussion.
All right, so we did have Mike Sespan from EL Harvey here last week discussing the ins and outs of the contract. The town of Mendon does not have a current contract for the fiscal year 2024. So we're cutting it down to the wire. So we are looking to get a step forward on our final numbers.
Yep.
And with the current subscribers and seniors, we're looking at a rate for standard rate for the year for 06 and for senior rate a 203 for the year.
6203.
And this will include 65-gallon toters for both recycling and trash, and moving towards single stream recycling starting July 1st, 2023.
And this would be 165-gallon trash being provided and 165-gallon recycle
Correct,
being provided by EL Harvey, right?
correct.
And to note, I think we also determined too that they were amenable to if a homeowner had an additional
65,
60, up to 65 gallon to
Yep.
put out, they would take that as well.
correct.
So at the moment, just for those listening, and those in attendance, we currently provide for 120 gallons of trash to be disposed of at curbside. Within the program, within the fee. And then we also have the allowance for stickered bags with stickers to be purchased. So an individual theoretically could put out, say, a total of 8 bags if they were doing bags, 4 that would be covered by their user fee. And the additional 4 could be collected, assuming they have a sticker on them. Now, of course, moving forward, their plan is to do automation using the
Right.
arm of the truck. So there will be no more manual lifting of bags. So folks want to remember that if they're going to be doing any kind of stickers on a bag, the bags are going to have to actually be in a container that can be flipped up into the truck.
Right.
So my understanding is what they will do is if they come to a curbside that may have, say, 3 barrels, let's say, right, 265s and the recycle plus a third barrel. But my understanding is they will check that third barrel just to check and see if it's got stickers, bags in it. In which case, if it does, they'll take it. But if not, they'll take the 2, but they'll leave that third one behind.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Anyone?
But I know that we have quite a few people who are not engaged in this program. And I think that, they should reevaluate what they're doing and see that, in fact, this program even still is less expensive than a private contractor doing it.
Yeah, based on research that we've done, we've
Correct.
looked at the private offerings out there, and they appear to be still a little more expensive
Right.
than our program, even though the costs are going up.
And most of them aren't doing recycling. They may say they're doing recycling, but once they put the two barrels or whatever you have into the same container, doesn't matter what they say, they're not recycling because you cannot
Commingle.
commingle that.
When you say commingle that, meaning,
Meaning the recycling with the regular trash. I mean, I know, I have been, going around and I see what people, I've been making it a point and to see, and I see, well, Joe Blow, he's got his two things out and one of them says recycling, but I know I've watched certain contractors that are, not part of the towns, but,
Yeah.
and I see them, they just go into the same container,
oh, right, yeah.
so.
Oh, true. Oh, that perspective, yes. As far as
Correct.
the pickup side. you're
I
right.
think that's somebody manually sorting it back at the facility, which
No.
is not
No,
not
they
realistic.
can't do that even,
Oh, right.
once they're commingled, it's
So
considered contaminated.
two things I had that, so I actually was just talking to Mike too, so he had gotten some information regarding the discussion around getting it back in the tax bill. So two of the things, and then I have one other question on that too, so if we did want to go that route, it would require a 2.5 override, because we have to get it back in the budget. The historical reason was, the reason it was pulled out back in the day was because it was rising and causing either the budget to have to be reduced or causing a 2.5 override. So it was pulled out and put in as a bill so that we were not having to go that 2.5 override. And that's the concern that I think I was bringing, well, I know I was bringing up the other day, was that if we override it now, and then if we're in whenever the contract is up, but next time and it goes up so much, what do we have to do? Do we cut services elsewhere in town, or now do we have to ask for another override? So that's where we have to be careful financially there. There are other options. So if there's a concern about the billing and not being paid, I think what happens when the billing, if you don't pay, you just don't get picked up, right?
That's
You just
right.
fall off
Yeah,
it's not like
pretty
you get.
simple, yeah.
The other way is we could actually put it on the tax bill. However, it gets a little tricky there, that now it comes possible you could end up with a lien on your property because it's kind of like a water bill,
Right.
that type of thing. So there are other options there. The other, like, for instance, when some people, and I'm just going to use myself as an example. So I have a dumpster at my business that allows for any kind of trash.
Right.
Whether you want to call it household or whatever, but it could be food, it can be anything. So I bring my trash there. Right? So I don't have another service. I do have another service provider, but it's for the business, right? So
Right.
I have that cost no matter what.
Right.
I don't have another service provider. So I do do the recycling program because it doesn't cost anything to be part of it. How does that work in the new contract? Do I have to now pay for recycling?
Right.
Yes,
Okay, so I have to pay just for recycling, or just have to pay for the bin?
you have to pay for recycling
Yeah.
somewhere else. If you're not on the trash, you're not getting picked up for recycling.
So they just won't even pick up. Can you
Right.
opt in for just the recycling
No.
and pay a smaller fee? No?
No.
Okay, all right.
Because you know what, it's so variable. It's
No, I
like-
understand. I knew that it was,
Right.
a thing, and I wasn't sure
Right.
how it panned out because they weren't sure. And I remember conversations maybe 6 months ago where they were,
I know.
they just weren't sure if
Right.
it was, so we just won't be able to do recycling.
And it's too bad, what's happening, I mean, is that recycling has changed dramatically since.
Just when
I
got
always always say
really good at
back in the day, back in the day,
it.
everything was recycled and it worked out well and.
Well, I know that, like I said, I was just understanding the whole process too
Right.
of, okay, don't do pizza boxes, don't do this type of plastic. I mean, I was.
This
no,
styrofoam.
You're right, styrofoam, I was like, this is, we're, they're recycling, and I think I was hindering recycling in a sense, because once it gets to a certain point of what I have in the bin,
Right,
they just throw in the trash bin. So it was, and again, I just started getting better at it. So
Right.
when I, especially after meeting with those guys a couple times. So it's pressed, but yeah, I'll have to reevaluate that on
Right.
my own, to see if
Right.
maybe I join that, join the trash pickup and maybe just less trash I bring with me in my car
Right.
to the office.
and I think, I quite honestly, I think that the way we're doing it is a really good way. I think it's effective, you know, they pay their bill, I mean, I get my trash bill, I'm always happy to pay it, because I said, you know what, I know how more expensive it would be
Mhm.
if I was doing something else, and, you know, bing, bam, boom, it's done, and, you know, and I don't think that it's over the top, you know, I think we're getting a good deal by today's standards, for sure.
Well, you just mentioned a good point by today's standards, and as everyone knows, we've been in an inflationary situation economically and
Right,
pricing's up all over. But in addition, it's almost like a perfect storm because 5 years ago, when we signed this contract with the El Harvey, it was a wonderful um, offering at the time that we had.
Right.
And at the time, recyclables weren't a problem.
Yep.
They weren't an issue. Matter of fact, the town, over the course of each quarter would actually get a rebate, which is why you had the separation of paper and plastic
yeah,
from
right.
plastic and everything else.
Every week had its thing.
Yeah,
Right. No, I know. I still do it today.
we'd actually share in that.
Right.
Gail Harvey would get a piece and they would
Right.
kick back a portion to the town on a
Yep.
quarterly basis. You know, it could be as much as be, $1,500 or $2,000 or
Yeah.
something. So that was nice.
Right,
But, because of the world of recycling's changed, that doesn't exist
yeah,
anymore.
dramatically,
Costs are up. So now the companies have to charge for tonnage, a tonnage price on the recycling, which is going to be something dramatically new to us. Before, we were only paying a tonnage price on the trash, which we
Right.
still do. Now it's going to be a tonnage price for the recycling. So although they've given us a medium number, what they estimate it to be, that could fluctuate.
Yep.
Just like tonnage on trash can fluctuate. So we base our budget kind of on a couple of variables there. We just don't know how it's going to be. So that's how we price it. We just
When-
try to,
When does the recycle, when is the current process end? July 1
yeah. I
or
think
June
it's-
30th?
Yeah.
June
June
30th,
30th,
the new
yeah.
process starts July 1.
So that's my last week.
yeah.
Actually, you won't have a calendar anymore because it's gonna be picked up every week. It's just getting its
It's gonna
commingled.
be mixed.
Yeah,
commingled,
got it.
Yeah, yeah,
But there'll still be a calendar to have the E.L. Harvey holidays and the do's and don'ts of doing your trash.
Right.
Type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think everybody
Reminders.
just reads the calendar part though.
well, you
Pretty
know,
much.
just let me tell you this, though, the new trash cans are going to have a message on the top of them
Yeah, what Mike Sussman said.
saying, telling you what.
Oh,
What's
what's
recyclable?
what,
Oh, good.
What's not, and don't you dare put in this in there,
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah,
still gonna read it.
yeah.
Exactly.
There you
Gotta
go,
make him somehow shock the user.
there you go.
Putting the wrong thing in.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You'll remember.
Don't
Okay.
bother me with reading directions.
Reincarnate Pavlov dog theory, right?
Right.
Exactly, yeah. Well, sometimes change is difficult. We know this will be a little difficult, maybe in the beginning. Actually, we hope that more people may come into the program. I mean, currently, right now, we have about 80% participation, which is very good in of itself.
Right,
But there's about 400 roughly also households that don't participate. They
Right.
have other means. And I understand that. There might be
Right.
other legitimate means. But maybe we get a few that,
right, are using,
If you got 100 out of that amount, because you gotta remember too, right? People could be second homes, right?
Yeah.
Or, especially lake house stuff.
Right.
So there's a few people
Right.
there.
correct,
Businesses aren't counted in the calculation.
businesses are not
No.
counted.
Right,
No.
so,
No.
so I mean, it just could be any number of things that gets you to
Right.
that number.
or somebody that thinks they're getting a better deal, but,
True.
and they don't, and they haven't really
I think they'll
found
big
out
deal.
that they're not getting a better deal.
Well, one of the elements here too, speaking of better deals and other options with regard to somebody using a private hauler outside of what E.L. Harvey is, what is that hauler actually providing from the service perspective? There may be haulers out there that are only doing trash, that are not doing trash and recycling.
Sure.
And that could change.
Actually, I am working on a new trash hauling permit, which is gonna require, if you're gonna be a trash hauler in Mendon, you must offer recycling. And if you don't, the person who has your services for trash services has to prove they have a recycling service with somebody else that's licensed in Mendon.
Okay,
Good.
And this is going after the plain bill format of how they do their trash.
okay, yep.
Yeah,
Because Massachusetts says if you're offering trash service, you have to offer recycling services. as
Yeah,
well.
that's right. At the state level, that's what they,
Oh, really?
that's what they require. And as a Board of Health underneath the state, you know, we'd be kind of mandated to make sure those guidelines are being followed.
all right.
So, yeah, that could be a change. So those folks, for example, that are, they get their recyclables collected or have been up to this point, maybe those are folks that say, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll
Right.
join in and
Right,
get on the trash.
because, you know, again, it's more expensive.
I know we had talked about this before. I know we're getting close. As a matter of fact, in a couple, 2 weeks, the billings will go out. Maybe
Mid-May, yeah, so a couple of
Mid-May.
weeks.
So I know we had kind of talked a little bit about maybe wanting to put out some sort of an information letter of some kind to the residents to kind of let them know about these changes that are coming and kind of give them a little outline ahead of time. But I mean, I think that's something that we should still look to consider doing as opposed to, because when they get the bill, I envision sticker shock compared to what they had.
But can you put the insert in with the bill, or do you want to be ahead of the bill?
I was hoping to, my personal view would be to be ahead of the bill.
Well,
So, but-
actually, they're gonna get last year's, I mean, the bill is gonna be, the next bill they get is gonna be the same bill that we've been paying, right?
No, with the higher rate.
Oh, that's gonna start right then in.
July 1st is gonna be the brand new spanking bill.
But we don't get a bill in May?
Well, the one that gets mailed out in May,
It's due July 1st.
due July 1st to cover the service from July to the end of December.
Okay, okay.
So that's your first
Oh,
biannual bill.
Okay, all right,
So yeah, you're paying upfront.
yeah. I was thinking that we were paying in arrears, big word, think of it.
Yeah, in this case, we're paying
I don't know
ahead
how I
for the service. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, we could certainly put something in the Mendon News thing. You know, that would go to everybody, not just the people that have the trash. I think that'd be a good idea, and maybe they would,
So maybe with the rates, let them be able to
yeah,
compare.
see,
I think,
Yeah.
when is Amy's newsletter go up? The senior newsletter, because that should be a
oh, there's a thought.
good idea.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
for the seniors to
Yeah.
get, just because that's a big change. What are they paying now?
73 per biannual, so
146
there you go.
So it's a
Yeah,
jump in a
well,
hundred.
for the year.
It's almost double.
Yeah,
It's going to 203.
It's going up by $100 for them
Yes,
for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
we'll be in charge of recycling. Recycling alone for this year is $50,000.
yeah.
yeah.
I get, no, I get it.
No, I'm just saying, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it is just, you know, it is what it is, as they
Right,
say, you
right.
get, you know, things change.
But I'm telling you, Mendon's getting a better deal than Bellingham is,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're allowed 65 and that's it.
165.
165 and that's it.
And what do you folks,
I'm at 101 for a bill and we pay every 3 months.
every 3
So
months?
it's 404,
Okay,
Roughly, we're only paying a little bit more here, right? 440, you said?
406 for Mendon,
Oh, really?
406 for the year. for
but you're
Mendon.
getting, but you're.
But you're getting 120 gallons a week.
Wow,
So we're getting
65.
same amount bill, but
Yep.
half the trash.
Right,
Wow.
so I guess
What are
the,
you using?
LRV.
See, tough negotiators over here. We don't mess around.
well, so
Nice
that
job.
raises the question, do we want to consider doing anything with the current allowance structure that we have in place? We'll leave that alone, maybe going into this first year
What
of
do
the
you
new.
mean?
Well,
To lower it. type of thing?
yes, to
I
lower,
feel like they're not, I felt like when he mentioned that at the last meeting, it was, hey, we're just gonna do this for you. Like it
Right.
wasn't, if you don't want it, the bill's still the same.
What I did talk to Phil this morning,
right, I think.
he
that-
did say 65 is the standard for trash pickup per week.
Right.
So doing Mendon at 120 goes, it's unheard of. EL Harvey's willing to do it. I'm willing to pick it up, but every town is 65.
Yeah, so that's, I feel like we're just getting a gimme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So maybe this first go round, because we can always modify that for future years and maybe see how that works. But I mean, I know the goal here too, I think, is to also promote recycling,
correct.
Right.
right? Hence the big 65
Right.
gallon ones that are going to be distributed to all the households, right?
You know what Holliston's is for pickup for trash?
35.
Wow.
35 for pickup for trash. They get a 35-gallon trash tote.
Hmm.
And Dylan from next door, the zoning board agent, she's like, I'm lucky if I fit one bag in my
Yeah, I was
tote.
gonna say, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, Yeah, people in Holliston are not happy.
Oh, Hollis.
Holliston.
Yeah, right.
Which is a wealthy community.
Yeah, right. Up there with the Dovers.
I mean, I think Phil, in talking with Phil in the past, it doesn't sound like there's a great percentage of people that do a lot.
That's what he said this morning. He goes, you get by
Outside.
with 65, you guys would be fine.
Yeah. But I mean, I just don't know if I want to, at least at this point, dramatically make a
I think
change.
we're doing well right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to change anything.
But I agree with
That's
you,
what he
like
said.
later on, not maybe this billing cycle, maybe next billing cycle, talk about it. And by the third billing cycle, or we're dropping you down to 65.
Just with the increase in
Gradual.
cost alone, and then to
What I'm-
say,
Right, what I'm saying is if you decrease them to the 65, I don't think the bill's gonna go down.
That's right.
oh, the bill won't go down.
No, bill doesn't
No,
go down at all.
Why do
period.
we care if
Yeah,
EL Harvey's
right.
giving us the extra space?
Right.
At no
Exactly.
cost.
That's
Right.
exactly right.
Well, I was thinking it from in terms of, maybe, I don't know if force is the right word, but to promote the concept of the recycling element. So,
So I see what you're saying. You're saying, hey, I've got 2 bins plus a recycle bin. Why am I putting in the recycle bin? I don't need to save any space. I got the 2 big bins.
Right.
I see what you're saying. I got it. I'm with you.
Right.
On the
That's
opposite side of that, if we do just do 65, that's less tonnage that we're paying per month with wheel
Sure.
grader.
Oh, okay, so the tonnage cost is.
So that's gonna lower the bill as
We're
well.
only talking about the hauling cost.
Right.
Okay, so I think you need to monitor it.
I mean, but,
That's a great purpose.
but think about that though, from a tonnage perspective, that would have been a great push toward reducing the trash allowance. But since we're also now going to be paying tonnage on recycle, if it doesn't end up on the trash, it's going to end up
Going
on the recycle. So we don't,
Which tonnage is cheaper?
well, so there you go. That might be the,
All right,
Well-
we'll give them 3 bins.
we won't really know that until we get into this program.
We are now no longer promoting recycling. You have 3 bins for just trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's, well, I think for the most part, I think our residents are pretty good stewards. You know, they really do a good job and, you know, do it the right way. I mean, there's probably some things we could do. Maybe at the school level, educationally, to
Right.
kind of
Have the kids guilt their parents.
have the kids guilt the parents. say,
Well, I mean, if the kids are doing it to them, that teaches them good habits.
Right.
I mean, I'm probably a little bit off, like I've got some weird OCD, so I wash my recycling. Like,
There's nothing wrong with it.
That's good. I think
I
it's
just want to
good.
make sure I
Yeah.
wasn't crazy.
Well, you know, I mean, and we.
But the guy these need to smell good for the guy.
We wash everything, you know, I mean,
Get taxable
we have
So-
cats, so we have cat food.
Yeah,
So I
gotta
take
wash
the
the tins
paper up,
out.
I wash the tins out, you know, the peanut butter jar is really a pain.
yeah, well, I've given up on the old peanut butter.
But I keep doing it. I do it. I wash
The,
it.
you know what actually, what the worst part is like, we'll get together at the house, and there's a lot of beer cans or something. That's what really makes them gross.
Right,
You know, everybody's just throwing them in there and there's a
right.
little bit left in
Yeah.
it. and
Well,
it's
stuff stick,
sticky
yeah.
as hell.
Anybody listening have any comments or thoughts they'd like to put out there to us? Not seeing any.
So I think I could tell Mike Sespian tomorrow.
Well, I'd say that these are going to be the numbers for us to go with
So have him work out the contract
and have them work out the contract.
and hopefully have us at the next Board of Health meeting.
That would be
Hey.
great. That would be ideal. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think what we're gonna have to do is that contract should go, you might know better, that should go before legal, before, for like a final stamp of approval.
There's no reason why it shouldn't. Yeah, send it right over to
Right, yeah.
Karis, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to go through Kim's gonna be here, through June.
Oh, June.
So,
Okay. It's good.
yeah, so she's still here working with us. So yeah, you can go right through her to get that, to get it to Karis if you need to.
Good.
Yeah.
Just so she.
Oh, it makes sense. I mean, to me.
And we don't, like, the select board doesn't need to, you guys sign your own contract.
Correct.
right? Okay.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have somebody that's has the eye for
Yeah.
that stuff, just say, oh,
Yeah.
what is this?
Well, you get into legal
Right,
terminology and stuff, and
Correct.
you just wanna
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure.
Just like when you're looking at a PNS for a house, right?
Exactly.
I just look at the numbers. I assume you guys have done
That's a good point, is that, yeah. Can I afford to write this check? So I guess the follow-up would be just trying to maybe come up with a letter that we can put out to the residents, utilizing the sources mentioned, the senior news, that's a great source. The town paper there, that's out there.
yeah,
It might not make it for May, it might make it for June, because I believe it's like the second to last Thursday has to be into the town, not town crier, the Free Press paper for it to get published in the next month.
Well, if that were the case, then would just putting it out with the bills be?
So you can put it out with the bills, but you can just also do a mailer.
Do both.
You can do, if you go on the USPS website, or we have a bulk mail permit. I don't know how it works, but I know I did a mailer for the,
Every door direct mail?
yeah, there you go. And it wasn't, maybe $600 or something. Like, it wasn't gross. Because generally, and again, you can cut business out of it. You can cut it down to bring the price really low. You just need it to go to every resident.
right.
And then, but you need to provide the actual product too.
Oh, see, and that might be a good thing to get other people to say, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Alright,
cost
Especially
me
if the
that
rates
much.
are on it, that's a key. I think, key
Correct,
factor.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Another cookie?
No. I do, but I'm not gonna.
See any questions? Anyone with a hand raised? All right, move on to agenda item number 3,
Landfill testing discussion,
landfill.
all you.
Okay, I guess that's all me. So, in the last few months, I've been in discussions with, Mass DEP, about the formal landfill, here in Mendon. And what prompted initial conversations back a while ago had to do with, period of time that was initially assigned for the testing period at the landfill. Now, the landfill's been closed, I believe, since the early 80s.
It's been closed.
Joyce knows the
70s.
time.
Yeah.
70s.
70s, yeah. Believe,
75.
I guess,
believe me, I do know that very well because I was in court all day and then I came home from court because we won.
okay,
And I got a phone call. It said, you think you won? Well, you have no place for your trash.
Yale Hobby's picking up.
Well, it wasn't E.L. Harvey, but it was Farron Cardy.
Yeah, right.
I had a policeman at the end of our side of the driveway, and I had already made up all the things, because I knew with whom I was dealing, and had it all set up, and I had a policeman there, and he handed them a thing, said, this is where we're gonna bring your trash, and blah, 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 and bing, bam, boom.
Hmm.
And then the rest after that, we ended up, I had a group of people that I was working with, and we ended up having house-to-house pickup and house-to-house recycling, which was the first
that's
in
fine.
all of Massachusetts that had house-to-house recycling. Of course, I had to beg people to do it, but
You know what's even funny? And I don't mean to digress, but this just popped in my head. So it was maybe 2 years ago. Kelly and I were up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So it's one of those places. We were staying overnight. we were at a restaurant, at the bar, having some drinks, and then to talking to a guy next to us, and he says, Mendon. He goes, where'd you live? I said, on Maury Street. He goes, yeah, the White House with the black shutters on the corner. I go, how do you know where I live? He goes, I used to pick up your trash. He goes, I remember you running around the yard.
Wow.
Imagine that.
That's pretty scary.
Imagine that. He was one of the first
Right, trash
callers
pickers,
probably
yeah,
in
yeah,
Mendon.
yeah. And everybody, I mean, it wasn't a question of, are you gonna do it? You did it.
Yeah.
Everybody did it, you know? But it was really kind of a tough,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
it
Kind
was-
of unfortunate.
it was all summer.
Yeah.
All summer, we were in court.
Yeah, that was a fight.
Yeah. And it was really kind of funny because I was young then
Mhm.
and new then. It was, yeah, I had been there very long and his attorney, well, I had learned that you had to, if you kept a diary, you could use it in court, you know? So I was getting up to do my stuff and I started to do it and his lawyer said, Judge, she's not an expert witness. She's just a nurse. And the judge said to him, and I see him all the time too, to the lawyer. And he said, well, she sounds like an expert to me. And every time I see him, he says to me, well, she sounds like an expert. And we laugh at it now, but he wasn't laughing then.
Again, it probably wasn't a lot more, probably a lot more serious back then.
Oh, it was wicked. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe the phone calls I got that
Yeah.
threatening and
That's a shame.
unbelievable.
Well,
I
well, things a little bit better now.
Yeah,
Got to that. And so part of what we're looking to do with the landfill is to reduce current testing that they do.
so what did they say? How long did they say the testing would be? Because that had to be 76, I think.
75.
75,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
So
it seemed
what-
like
what-
yesterday.
What had been outlined was roughly 30-year period of testing that would
Yep.
have to go on, right? And sometime back around, I want to say it was 2018, I came across something or had a conversation with somebody and I happened to peruse the document. I can't remember what it was, something in our office, I believe. It had to do with the outline of the testing and the period of time. It's almost like a contractual thing. So when I saw the 30-year time frame, and I said, well, geez, that was up about 5 years ago. So that prompted phone calls to
Good,
Mass DEP
good.
to have the discussions about potentially reducing testing. And in conversing with gentleman at Mass DEP, Jim McQuaid, he's a section chief there, very nice guy. He indicated that, that was a possibility, but he said chances are moving forward and forever, there's probably always going to be a requirement that these landfills will always have to be testing, specifically with groundwater.
Right,
The one area that they thought could be reduced or, I don't know if eliminated, but at least reduced would be regarding gas monitoring, which is the other piece of what they do.
right.
So we had these conversations back and forth and then COVID hit, so it kind of got put on the back burner for a couple of years. And now it's come back around again. But in addition, at that time, Jim also mentioned a new requirement that came out that said that landfills have to be inspected every 2 years as well.
Kind of inspection.
What, yeah,
So basically, from what I understand, it basically involved somebody walking the
People.
property
oh,
and actually inspecting the cap element
right,
of the landfill,
right,
looking for any kind of breaches or
Right.
issues.
right.
That's something that was implemented back in 2014 or 2015. So here it is, fast forward to 2018, we haven't had any inspections
Done
yet,
that,
so
yeah.
we're already in arrears. COVID hit, kind of got put on the back burner a little further. And now we're kind of revisiting it again and, we're almost, we're about 9 years out from when requirements started. So we're trying to play catch up and basically at least start to get in compliance with the state requirement of doing this inspection.
Site inspection, yeah. Because we
Base
did,
for
we did do that in the beginning. I did that because you know, it was so much trash there and stuff, and we, you know, we had to do everything, and I watched every step of it because I had never, you know, I didn't even know what was going on, so it was, you know, and somebody said to me, you know, you've got to make sure that you're not seeing any leaks or anything, you know, so I'd go up there with the kids and we'd go for a walk around the thing.
Hey, kids, go play.
Yeah.
Plant trash.
Yeah,
So who pays for this?
Well, so there would be an expense to it.
yeah, I can see.
Does the town pay it or does the landowner pay it?
Well, we've been paying for the testing.
We've been
for the-
paying for the testing right along.
But he was bringing trash from out of town.
Well, and initially that was
That was what it was,
That was
what
what
was
it was
all
about.
about.
but
That was definitely what it was about.
as far as all the testing
Right, but.
costs,
the
we,
thing is,
town's been paying.
So the town pays.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the town would be picking up the tab for the inspection. I don't think at this point
So
you
the
can go back
state
to,
mandates further testing. There's an unfunded mandate. There's not supposed to be any of that,
well,
Yeah,
but it's not a mandate, it's just a, what they just changed the word.
new rule.
right.
Um.
And so they're not putting the, you know, the thumb down on us. they'd like us to be,
You know, I
Up
get-
Up to-
Get into
up to-
compliance.
Yeah,
No, I-
We have Karen in with her hand raised.
Oh, sorry.
Karen?
Hi. Sorry to bother you. I just don't know where this landfill was or is.
Sure.
was on Bellingham Street in the very beginning of Bellingham Street. After the farmhouse and
Oh,
on the
yeah.
on the left-hand side. Yeah,
Where the
Okay.
dance studio is up in the back, it's in there.
yeah, Dean's
Got it.
Dance Studio, right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome. So, you know, most recently, having conversations with Mass DEP to try to further this cause, I reached out also to the current folks that do the testing for us, a company called Atlas, based out of Rhode Island.
Oh, do
And-
you have this?
Yeah, I got it ready.
Okay.
So I wanted to see if they could also provide inspectional services as well as the testing part. So in speaking with our contact, she actually had connected with their counterparts in Massachusetts. And moving forward, we may actually end up working through the Massachusetts office, which kind of makes sense, but
Yeah.
they have a group of people there that kind of specialize in this area. So I talked to Jennifer Snay, and she sent that email with an outline of what the pricing would be for the different components for us to look at and consider. So one of them would be for them to provide, they call it TPI, third-party inspection. There'd be an agreement that would go along with that. In addition, they provided a sample of an access agreement for the property. The way it's been handled right along, when Atlas has wanted to do testing, which pretty much is on a quarterly basis, they've had a phone number to call them, and they would basically call and leave a message. And if they never heard back, they would just go out on the date. You basically give them the date on the message and go out. Every now and then, they might call back and they say, geez, this date could be a problem. They might have some event going on and reschedule it, but that was few and far between. So
Right.
that had been the method of communicating that they would be coming out to the property. So this access agreement that was proposed by Jennifer, it's optional. It's not a requirement on their part. It was just an option they presented. If we wanted to have something like that created in a more formal way with the folks. Again, not a requirement, but
So because it's. Then private property rights don't claim this at all. Like, what if they said, don't come on my property? To inspect this land, who would, what's the policing, and I'm only playing devil's advocate.
oh yeah,
What's the
Good question.
policing authority that if you didn't want somebody, you bought a piece of property. And I'm sure, maybe in the deed, it says you have to let them, maybe there's something weird thing in there, but what if they didn't allow you on the property?
It's a good question. I don't know what the structure, my next call is gonna be to DEP to try to obtain what was referred to as a closing or closure permit.
Yeah.
That I think might outline some information.
Sure.
Right,
I had Jack do a little research today. We weren't able to find such a
right.
document. But there's got to be something that was created when it was closed that outlined the requirements and maybe the responsibility of parties to do
Yeah.
things. And that's that's the next step. to
See,
get a hold
your
of.
point is well taken because, there was the town dump there. But that wasn't part of that whole thing, that he closed the town dump after he, you know, what I said. But the part where he was bringing the trash in from out of town, that was a whole other place.
No, I didn't realize there was two separate.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Where was that?
I mean, it was on the same property.
Oh, it was on the other, this, because there's two sides.
Because, you know, the where they started digging, the guy that was digging. and
Yeah, yeah,
said to
right.
me, You know,
What do you
that ain't water, that ain't groundwater, lady, that's water on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, hello? That was right near the river.
Right,
and
that's what was on the
on
left
that
side.
side of the thing, yeah, and whereas the town dump was down straight in the road that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So once they started bringing in that trash and so then I had to close it and then we went to court. And, he was still doing the town trash. He couldn't do that part,
That
you
piece.
know,
Okay.
he was doing the town trash and he said to me, like I said, you think you won?
Hmm.
But that was the end of the town trash too, that day.
Okay.
He never did it again. He never did trash again.
Yep.
But, your point is very well taken on that.
Well, maybe even Jennifer could further discussions with her.
Because I think
Point
that, he burned a lot back in the day that he burned the,
Well, I just only bring it up because there was, the potential things may happen down there. There's some talk about what the property's gonna, what the people that own are gonna do, blah, blah, blah.
right,
Maybe some just options that if it does end up being something more than it is today, that during those design phases with planning, if that ever happens, that you cut that out and maybe the town retains ownership of it, right? It might be
yeah.
easier things. There's I know.
But truth be known is we didn't own it and it wasn't,
Right.
we didn't use it. We didn't even use it. You know, it
So-
was two separate things.
So like I said, there might be something on that closing certificate that might have,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might have
Responsibility.
that, the details about the closure, the responsibility that, the landowner is under. I mean, potentially, Lonnie has a point, they could say no, because when talking about this whole access process with Jim previously, because we did try to get, quote unquote permission on this inspection topic a while back. And unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere. And then in talking with Jim, he started to talk about the legal aspect of what they might have to do. Whereby he'd want to take the soft approach, but if push it come to shove, then it might have to be a hard line
Yeah,
that the state might have to take
that's
to accomplish the goal.
that's so interesting now that I think about that. Shea Engineering covered it,
Right. But like I said,
did the plan and all that.
from a testing perspective, we've never had an issue that I'm aware of.
No,
We've never been
not
denied.
during my time either.
Never
Yeah.
been denied.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect a problem.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I get it.
I think they'd be perfectly amenable to it. It's just a matter of one other thing that they would need to be aware of that now needs to happen on a periodic basis.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we've had good luck over the years of the
Yeah.
Ferrucci family's always owned it and now
Oh, yeah.
somebody else owns it, but you never can know where you get that one person that buys it. It's like,
Right.
no, I don't want you to.
No, I hear you. Yep.
Was there a restaurant ever on the property?
So, no, but I think, what's in the dance studio? Isn't there wasn't there a full kitchen or something in there? Like, didn't they have events in there?
I don't know.
I remember going to parties
I
there
was
as a
never,
kid.
I was never allowed
Oh.
there.
I remember going as a kid and there was like for the Perucci parties or something.
Yeah.
It was always,
So I found like the plans for the property, it had like 84 parking spaces, like,
oh,
Yeah,
well, the dance studio was huge.
yeah,
oh, is it?
yeah,
It was,
Yeah,
it was
and they
very
did-
big ballroom dance, like
yeah,
fancy.
Oh,
dance.
all right.
yeah.
it
And
was a
they
thing.
did, like, events for the kids and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
All right.
That-
So there you go.
This is really interesting now that I'm looking at this too, because it says the former Mendon landfill.
I think they just gave that as a generic title.
Okay, good, because.
It's in
yeah.
Mendon, it's a
Well, I'm
landfill,
just
and it's in
thinking-
Mendon.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it,
Right.
because I know we weren't over there. I was there, this is our dump over there.
And the state, Jim's never been under the impression that it was a town-owned element either. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's familiar with the private, private ownership of it.
Right.
So, but, yeah, so I think it's a matter of, what we may or may not be able to pursue
Yeah.
here. Financially, it's an added,
I mean, those are the numbers though. I mean, is that
Element.
the numbers across the board for all the testing is?
I don't know.
1,200,
That-
2,000,
That's a
1,500?
lot.
well, that's what I'm not,
I just don't,
Clear on.
there's third party permit modification request and access agreement. So, I mean, those one time, hold on, this is the.
That's what I was wondering, one-time fees.
right.
On a time and materials basis not to exceed 5,700. But again, I don't know what really she's saying. Okay, assumption. Site bills,
It looks like task 2, that would be a one-time because that would be related to the permit modification request,
yeah,
where basically we'd be asking for the reduction. And what they'd be doing in this permit is they'd be outlining based on the data, using that as justification. So that would be a one-time,
so 1,200 per year on top of what we're already paying for
right?
the, what kind of testing they do?
It's gas monitoring and groundwater testing. They have the,
No,
they
so
have the
there are
wells
some,
set up,
yeah, you can see them, the monitoring stuff. I see it down.
right?
We used to always just do the groundwater. Sure, it wasn't contaminated.
I don't know, do you know offhand?
How much is it to dig it up and remediate it and bring it somewhere else and be done with it? Like really, like what's that costing, Pam?
I don't know.
Much stuff is there? How long was it?
But didn't run very long because,
But how long
I
did
could
it,
have
did the
stopped
town
it.
dump run?
oh, forever. But I don't know if they're in the same place.
They're not, well, it was on the left was that new dump,
Yeah,
the town dump was off to the right, right? You'd
Right.
pull up, and throw it up to
yeah,
the
but
right.
I don't think there's anything, are they testing in that area?
That's a good question.
Hold on, I
wasn't
have-
even familiar with the separation of the two.
I have some
functions, To
paperwork.
be honest with you,
Oh, wait, do I have paper?
landfill had been the only element,
Right.
term used.
Right,
So I think it's only pertaining to the landfill piece of it.
So I'm not even sure if they even.
But
know
the
about
other was the
second
dump.
side.
Was that?
the other was the dump.
Right.
So they don't monitor the dump, they only monitor.
I don't know.
They, hold on, I got some paperwork.
I mean, they used to burn it. I know he used to burn it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He
Yeah.
might have been burying it, might have just been,
Right.
it's a lot of
Actually-
stuff to burn though. Hey, what do you do with all, maybe he was recycling, maybe selling the steel,
Oh, yeah,
things like that,
yeah.
eating the food, I don't know.
And then there's something like 4 or 5 different test well points, I believe, on the property.
They
Yeah,
do
but
that?
it's on the left-hand side, right?
Hold on, I got it right here.
Yeah, I looked at a map, saw a map, unfortunately, I don't have a copy of that map.
I have one right here.
Got it?
What's that? What's the address?
28
Yeah.
Bellingham Street.
Oh, actually, I think I have it from you, Jack. Oh, no, you had the latest testing. Oh, right now, right here. So we've got. No, they're testing edge of, right side, which would be for the house
Mhm.
on the right. So there is monitoring well 5 2A. What's SG? SG. Because there's monitoring well and then SG. So there's one, yeah, that's quite a bit.
That I'm not sure.
So there's a monitoring well just past the first house on the left. I remember seeing that one. Then I'm just on the up a little further.
Right,
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of whatever these red things are. Oh, right. Oh, soil gas monitoring and
Oh, yeah.
groundwater monitoring.
Yep.
So there's more, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 gas monitors and 5 water monitors.
We don't have a copy of the,
It's funny,
Can I look
the areas
at
are not big though.
can I look at? it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the areas are not large in what they call the edge of trash.
Right,
Edge of trash. So I mean, again, how deep could they have gone?
yeah, right,
I mean, because you're gonna end up getting to groundwater where you're
Mm.
not, it's just gonna be, you're not gonna dig anymore, right?
Yeah.
right,
So even, it may be worth an ask to DEP just to ask, what is remediation possible to just not have to deal with this anymore? If we're gonna have to pay, I don't know, what's the number? Do we know what the number is every year
I
right now?
I bumped it up to 20,000.
So if it's $20,000 a year to keep an eye on this, right? And it's $500,000 to remediate this and be done with it. You know, we've already paid, how long have we been paying the amount? What have we already paid? And if it's $20,000 now, it's gonna go up to $30,000 in another 5 years, right? If you figure some sort of escalator. So is it worth it to say, okay, it's $100,000 to remediate it? And we can bring it somewhere else and be done with this for such a small area that we're paying that kind of money to monitor. And then the property just becomes better, suitable for something like an over 55.
yeah,
Hmm.
but the old ladies do the water.
I just, yeah, we feel like it would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we built an over 55 community over here on the trash. Like I almost felt uncomfortable thinking about it. So I don't know. I think it may be worth an ask.
it's worth an ask. That could be, something I could bring up with,
It's
Jennifer.
not, because again, it's not a huge area. Do you want me to forward that to you?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
He's gonna forward it.
Oh,
to-
good.
You want me to forward it to you?
Sure.
That's, yeah. It's a whole package from that Jack had sent.
We've never had a bit of trouble either with it, you know, it's not,
We haven't.
No, that's
There haven't been
what I'm
any
saying,
red
yeah.
flags
Right,
ever
Right,
raised.
that's what I mean,
or-
like, especially, I mean,
yeah,
if it was one thing, if it was like,
yeah,
nuclear waste and there's no way you could get rid of it. Now we have to monitor it for the rest of our lives, but just knowing it's 10 foot deep by a 40 by 40 foot section.
yeah,
Well, that's why I'm looking at, some of the test results, how that came up. They were looking so good, so long. That's where the thought came in, geez, maybe we could eliminate at least the gas monitoring part. That's when Jim had indicated,
No, you're not doing enough.
hold on a minute, kids.
Sorry, wrong number. This is Bob from Uxbridge.
You will do it and do it now.
well, I'll have the discussion with Jennifer on it. It's worth
Yeah.
asking, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
at what point would it be financially beneficial to go that route, remediate for a set price and instead of X amount every year forever?
Like Lonnie said, if it's 100 grand in 5 years, we'll be done with it.
That's right. Yeah.
Probably save money in the long run.
No, that's, yeah. Does anyone on the call have any questions that they want to put out or comments about the landfill topic? Not seeing any. Is there anything else that, we got a follow-up, we got our action items to follow up.
Yeah,
I think we need some answers to a couple of questions
yeah,
before we actually pull the trigger on anything.
that's
this
a bad
point.
phrase.
Yeah,
Pull the trigger.
pull the trigger. All right,
Yikes.
should we move on to our next topic on the agenda?
Yep.
All right. The next on the agenda, health agent position discussion.
I did email Kim last week about conforming the 2 line items into a new health agent position. I have not heard back from her, so I don't have any update yet.
Okay.
I thought that was a good idea, though.
What we were trying to do is with the health agent position, it was probably gonna be around $30,000. With the fiscal year 24 budget, we were thinking of reallocating the engineering fees of 20,000 and contracting fees of 10,000, combining those 2 line items into the one health agent fee. Because contracted fees was paid for Lenny Izzo when he was doing the health agent part.
You're
And
talking about for the budget coming up,
yes,
Yeah,
I would have to say that just, we can, it's not gonna change now.
So,
Unless she already did it because they're having the budget hearing right now.
but she did mention that when this came up a couple weeks ago, that if that was the consideration, something would have to be done ASAP. So the discussion went from, because I think she might have been thinking we were looking to add monetarily.
Yep.
So what Jack had come up with was the concept that in looking at it, instead of adding anything to the budget, we would take monies that have already been approved.
Yeah.
And basically they would get reallocated into a different category. So the monies that had already been approved for contracting services and engineering, those line items basically would be zeroed out.
So
And
essentially,
you-
we're taking contract, and what was the other number?
engineering
Engineering
fees of 20,000.
and combined, that was $30,000.
And what was the other one?
Contracted,
Contracting services,
contracted services.
10,000.
Move it to inspectional. move to
Well,
what?
well, then the plan would be to add a category under the salaries area, which we would call health agent salary. Because the one salary that's in there now is for the animal inspector, the 5,000. So we would add the 30,000 into that area.
I just asked her.
Okay. So there'd be no monetary increase.
See if, I'll see if she, I asked her if she did that,
Oh, all right.
because I know that they still. Let's
I
see
don't
if,
want to get anybody in trouble.
no.
No, we felt, and, we said to Kim when we emailed her, it was kind of an oversight on our part and not accounting for that.
But it doesn't, at the end of the day, I don't think it's really gonna make any difference because we could just move it to special. We could just create, we can make that change at the special town meeting.
Okay. So would even, so just my own edification, so as presented and approved. So even if it was a case where the monetary amount wasn't going to change, but we wanted to modify categories, does that in and of itself still create a need for,
So either you do it at budget season right now, right?
Yeah.
You would adjust, new line items, this is why we're doing it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no problem. Now, if we've missed it for a budget, then we just change it to special. We just create the account at the create the new account and then move the monies at the special time meeting.
oh, the account part, that's what I wasn't thinking about.
Yeah.
But can we hire her before that gets done?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
because we're definitely needing that.
I don't think I think that. I would say I would continue with the process of hiring the person and we'll make sure that we have it on the back end. We have, there's monies in salaries that we can. You're not gonna expend the total salary line item by November. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even knowing that you're gonna move money in. So it's not that we don't have the money budgeted for that purpose. The purpose is now that person is an employee. So we just need to get it in the correct place. But we're not gonna deficit spend BOH salary line item by the time the special town meeting comes.
Correct. That'd be true.
So I don't think that there's a problem, and I will follow up with that. But if you guys are ready to pull the trigger, I would do it. I know you guys have the need for
It's a
it,
guy
and
thing.
I know the person that you're hiring, and I think she's
Yeah.
eager to get started as well.
Right,
Yeah.
and I
I
mean,
think she's
she's,
done a huge
she's
amount
so
of
competent, I would hate for
I-
somebody
I-
to,
Just on top of that, just the knowledge that she'll help and you guys can bounce
Right.
things off each other is
Definitely.
right,
she really brings a lot with her.
Right.
And I think it's.
and I don't want anybody else to steal her.
Right. I think she's a huge win.
She is.
I only feel that the growth of, I don't know how things are gonna go now, but if the track stays the same or the way that the DLS report has reported that her role in my eyes, I know I'm leaving, but would just grow with the community
Right,
based upon those
yeah.
changes.
I mean,
So-
she's,
And she has the ability to do all those.
Oh, definitely.
right,
So
But-
what was the question, that Shelley had? Does she still have a question?
Shelley asked if it had to be posted, the job. Since the board already has somebody in mind already to hire. So we didn't know if we were overstepping or it had to be posted out to internally, externally, to say we have an open position with the Board of Health.
So there is, we do have a thing. I don't know if it's just for the Board of Selectmen, does it? Well, I guess, is it? Here we are, great.
right.
So we may have to do that. I don't know that Shelley's wrong on that, so let me see if I can wrap all this up before everybody leaves, because.
Yeah, we need you.
All right, let me just do this
Special election.
Yeah,
special.
yeah, we can do that.
stuff. All right. let me
We'll do
this.
a write-in.
Thanks.
There you go.
I just send this to BOH. Everybody gets BOH,
Yes.
Yeah,
and that is,
Do we all get BOH or you just get BOH in the?
I gave you, I forwarded to you guys.
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the position again?
Health agent position, part-time health agent position.
She said she didn't create those, but I'm gonna just say catch up.
get him with his thumbs up.
I know.
That's crazy. I have to do this.
So I'm gonna work that out with her. We'll work it out.
Is that an exercise machine over there?
This is triple.
Yeah, came with a grant for a wellness stuff that everybody was able to, that we were,
Oh,
employees were supposed to be able to use it. There it is. And then nice.
It's a shelf for empty boxes.
oh, I ride my bike 14 miles every day. Sitting.
Yep, okay, good. All right, so what was the other question?
Yeah.
Oh,
Under an hour.
Well, it's just about the,
And I'm reading my book.
the process from Shelley's perspective.
Has nothing to do with health. It's because I'm too.
And I think it's
busy
about the
to-
allocation.
What do you, one of those?
I have a seating one.
Yeah.
Those would be the two
And I
things.
just put it on and put it on my watch and,
That's,
yeah. I have a head knee replacement. Way back when they said, you're really way too young for that. But my knee was like so toast. Cause
Okay,
I
good.
thought I was.
yeah, I'm gonna go over, I'll have all those answers for you tomorrow.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Doing all this stuff and
All right.
falling
Um,
and falling.
Anyone on the call that has any questions about the health
I
agent
had to have it
position
done,
discussion
So now,
before we move on?
you know,
We
Not
should
seeing
just, we
anything.
should just ask. Karen, do you have anything?
Just ask Karen.
Oh,
She's
Karen,
the
yeah.
only- she's the only one in with
Oh,
us.
is Karen the only one? Oh. Thank you for hanging in with us, Karen.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's right. I saw all those other names there.
No, the other names is Jack, who's in. so
Yeah.
That's us, and the rest are just people that were invited and aren't
Invited.
here.
Got it. All right, so,
nobody cares about us.
so we're good on health agent
Well,
position?
we're all here.
Yeah,
The invited people are here, actually physically here.
Gang's all here. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Sharps kiosk disposal discussion.
All right, so I think I brought this up maybe last month
Mhm.
about residents coming in, looking for their sharp containers, and EL Harvey does provide sharp containers for the no cost to the town, and there's only 12 containers per year. But one resident come in, asked me, how come the town doesn't have a sharps disposal kiosk? A lot of towns do, how come Mendon doesn't? I'm like, oh, let me look into it. Back in 2021, you guys were discussing about buying more sharp containers from the Board of Health meeting minutes back in the day. Buy a case. And I believe the case again is 12. It's $546.50. And so that's not gonna cover a lot of people for the town of Mendon that come in for sharps disposals. So I was looking into a kiosk, see how much a kiosk would cost the town of Mendon.
this,
Yeah, there it is. To buy it, Sharps kiosk would be $17.50 one-time cost. Sharps liner bag for the barrel inside the kiosk would be $85. Pickup and disposal, it's a UMWM. I believe they're out of Sutton. It'd be $75 per pickup.
United Medical Waste Management.
So how often, like, I
Which
can't
you
imagine
have
it
to
fills up that fast.
No,
does it?
I was thinking like once every 3 months, I was estimating.
Yeah, it looks like you were doing a.
Yeah, once a quarter.
comparison.
Well, I mean, is that, so is that in lieu of the bins that we give out?
Correct. Because those bins get like gone, like, I'm down to my last 2 right now.
So you wouldn't even have those anymore. People
We
would
wouldn't
just
have them
come here,
anymore,
they
no.
would drop their sharps into that.
Correct.
bin.
so that's like somebody that's a diabetic,
Yes.
you know, right? Cause I was giving a resident vitamin B and I was looking for a spot and couldn't find anything. Had
No,
to-
because even we had a resident ask us about it, and I remember I found the website online. And the
Right.
only one that took them, that you didn't have to be a resident in town, was Hopedale Fire Department.
And that's
Right.
where I went.
Have you had any discussions, speaking of fire department, with public safety? on
The
their
police station
perspective?
only has the prescription drug bin.
Right,
Right.
yeah, because that's where I started, trying to get rid of them. I said, oh, I know, I'm gonna go there because they take, sure they
Seems
take.
reasonable.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like an unreasonable amount of money. I mean,
Right,
No,
I
I mean, we're
mean-
trading off a current expense. What's the current expense that we have for what we do is what now?
Well, we get free sharp containers, but we only get 12 a year.
Yep,
But those are gone. If somebody comes in for one, like they're coming back 3 months later for another one, same person,
right, yeah.
but only 12 residents technically.
so,
But
but,
so they're gonna, that's gonna be here.
sorry, for another 12, you said it was 560, right?
Yeah, for a case of them, which is 12, it's like $560 a piece.
Right, so that doesn't make sense. That makes more sense. Now, here's the problem.
Right.
How do we police it?
Yeah.
Okay, is it gonna be inside that you're gonna?
That's what I was suggesting, have it at the Board of Health.
And you would have to, hey, show your ID that you live in Mendon or something like that.
Correct.
Right,
To be able to use it. Got it. Makes
Yes.
sense.
right,
But yeah, you'll have to police it.
right.
Or
well,
that
it sounds like a valid need. Sounds like it's something that. we
Well,
get
I
utilized.
can attest to that because I had to look everywhere. I was going everywhere to look. I went down to the seniors because I figured there's a lot of diabetics there where,
After your initial investment,
Right,
that's
yeah.
not an unreasonable number.
Exactly,
Like you said,
yeah.
$85 for the bag. And so essentially every time they come, it's gonna be 8, 7, 50. So $160. Because they're gonna have to replace the bag, right?
No, the bag I'm buying at 85 a case, which is 75 bags per, I'm buying that on Uline.
Oh, so that's only, that's, you get 75 bags in.
Correct.
I got it. So then when the WM comes and picks it up, they just
Correct.
take
It's
it,
a quarters.
you put a new bag in.
So
What kind of bag is it?
it's
It's a
a,
big bag,
It's gotta be, no, it's gotta be a thick bag.
thick and big.
it's a biohazard 3 millimeter infectious
Oh,
waste
yeah.
trash
Yeah.
bags.
So it's got a little
how do things
thickness.
poke through it?
A little
Well,
thickness
they,
to it.
they,
No, the needles aren't
They
gonna
have
be
to-
loose. They have to be in a
they-
container to
right,
drop into
yeah,
the kiosk.
Correct.
I get it. So what about those containers?
They can use a coffee can, laundry bottle type thing.
Oh, anything.
Yes, as long as it's puncture proof.
right, you know, it goes in,
Hard plastic, hard tin.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I get it.
Right.
And then we just drop it in there.
right,
Again,
yeah, because I spent a quite a long time trying to find out how to get rid of
Hope you'll
them.
find it.
Yeah, well, I found that out.
or we can just tell them to go to Home Depot. No, I think, I don't,
Yeah.
I personally think that that's a reasonable investment.
Right,
Yeah, it's good, community service, element to have and I'd go for it.
Make a motion.
Um, I'll step down and make a motion to acquire a, shops disposal kiosk with, bags.
and I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank
so
you.
passed. No one has any questions on sharps? Like Karen's good. That brings us to topics not anticipated within 48 hours. Does anyone have anything?
I do have some updates for the board.
Okay,
Lonnie has stated that the Lake Nipmuc Task Force is a go.
nice.
So we just need from the board, I believe, Joyce, you put your hat in the ring to be the representative.
Yep,
So now with that, being creative, Lonnie, so do you folks now kind of formally get into an appointment process?
So no, so the way, the only appointment is going to be from the Lake Nipmuc Association. Every other member is already a member of a board or committee in the town, so you're just the representative. So whoever the board or committee represents, there's no appointment, they're just a representative.
Ah, okay,
And the only appointment is, again, is the LNA appointee, only because they're not appointed to anything in the town. Because
Gotcha.
it's an official town committee, minutes, open meeting law, things like that.
Video.
okay,
Yep, so
Awesome.
that person will end up with a town amendment IP, email address, correspondence, I'll need to go through that. if I
Okay.
can, just for this, and it will just, I'm optimistic that this committee will streamline all of the items that were out there, Concom, Board of Health, Lake.
Yeah, I
Social
mean-
Parks Department, and DPW.
centralize that information, you
Yep.
know, and I would agree.
Yeah, it should be great.
Cool, thank you.
so we did send out letters. We sent out, you know, I wanted to send out a letter to everybody to say, what was your septic system pumped last? And so we're getting some information back, right, Jack?
Yes, 115 letters went out on April 17th, and so far I received 9 responses.
So,
Ah,
well, you know what, even
gotta
though,
start somewhere.
yeah, so those 9 people are, you know, free and good.
Yeah.
So then the rest of them, I think we're gonna have to go knock at the door and say, hey, you know, we sent you a letter, what's going on? All we wanted was your info and blah, blah, blah.
And so just for detail, Joyce, now these letters, what are they actually saying again? What are we asking with these letters?
It was for their last pumping record or their last canceled
Right.
check.
Right,
Okay.
so that we know, you know, by and large, the state requires you to have it pumped every 2 years. And of course, the tight tanks have the alarm and we need to make sure that you're not just
Like,
correct or
Can't be
doing-
happening.
doing something that's, you know, naughty. So that way we have some background, you know, to say, okay, so now maybe there's a cesspool, which in my opinion, there's no good cesspools. I don't care, you know.
Well, I mean, there are
Well,
some,
I think it comes down to more just legality of the cesspool.
Right.
If it's a legal cesspool, it's a legal cesspool. If it's
Yeah.
not.
Well, the thing that I personally don't know what would make it legal because it means that it's an open, it's more of an open thing and it's not, you know, but anyway, that's beside the point, you know,
Right.
one step at a time, so.
right,
But interestingly enough, I got a message from someone on the lake who's very concerned about the cat litter being put into the compost next to the pond. So, which I personally, you know, I did some research, I looked it up to see, you know, what would it be, you know, what would you do? And what they're saying is put it in the trash. You
That's where I
don't,
put my cat litter.
yeah, you put it,
Where's the compost next to the lake?
well, they're composting, their own, you know, I have a compost pile. in my
Okay,
garden.
okay, gotcha. I understand.
They just throw it on that, you know, and then of course it rains and it goes in. And of course, cat, you know, feces is definitely a carrier of toxoplasmosis and that can, you know,
Well, does she know who's dumping the kitty litter?
yes, but she did not speak to me about it, but she wanted to know if the Board of Health would, you know, say, look, you can't do that, or send a note or whatever. But I don't know who it is either, swear, I don't know. And then also they were doing, putting on weed killer, which is another thing that, you know, I don't think that they should be doing any weed killing around the lake. I mean, that's basically from, you know.
Okay, but, and again, we just have to be careful of what we maybe think we shouldn't be doing.
Right, I'm just
Opposed to
saying, right.
what is the legality? I mean, where are they spraying the weed killer? They're spraying it in their yard somewhere, or are they spraying it on the weeds in the lake, you know? What I mean?
Well, no, they're spraying it on the yard, on the grass and, or in the thing. But what happens when it rains,
I right, I
you know, I'm
understand.
just saying that if there is, I'm not making a judgment because
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know about that, but
Yep.
my feeling is that it would be, people around the lake should not be using weed control, you know, on their grass and lawns and, you know, even fertilizers that are gonna leach into the lake. But again, I just got the call and I didn't
Yeah,
have
right.
enough time to do the research on that. The only thing I did know from, because I am a nerd, is about the cat feces. And
I
so,
mean, I think that would be common sense. It's cat feces.
yes, and and it did say that it should be put in a bag and not a plastic bag, because now we can't put plastic bags in, so it would be into like a paper bag into the,
Can't put plastic bags in.
well, we shouldn't be using plastic bags to put stuff in.
Like the
Like-
garbage
like-
bags, you mean?
Kitty litter?
Yeah, I know, I know, but again,
Well, my kitty litter bags have the drawstrings on them. I just
oh,
pick it
yeah,
up and just put it
okay,
into the trash.
right.
but just in general, the concept of plastic,
Yeah, you know, we're trying
It's
to,
an
we're
issue
trying
in the-
to,
in the,
we're
yeah.
trying to diminish plastic. In terms, I mean, like a lot of places in Massachusetts, you have, they don't do plastic
No, they
anymore.
don't.
They do paper.
They
and
charge you
some
10 cents a bag.
stores have even,
I know I have my own bags.
I do too.
But Tajay, they don't,
Tajay doesn't cut
trust me, I have a plethora of Tajay bags.
plastic bag.
A bag of bags.
I know. We have a bag of bags too, and just, you know, it's like,
I feel like are the new ones better though? I feel like they're way thinner and like,
but you know what happens, and they
Feel-
give you two.
well, I mean, I feel like it's just like almost like even the material's different, like,
well, definitely the paper bags that are in the stores now.
Yeah.
They're smaller and they're lighter. They have reduced the amount of composition to the bag. So,
I'm talking more about those plastic bags. that
Right.
those, they feel like that they're just.
Oh,
not-
even the plastic ones?
They feel like they're like more I just remember there was a change in like how they were.
Right.
They used to be very thick.
Yeah, but because they're thinner,
Yeah.
they give you two. though.
Yeah. Sure.
But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want that to be my secret.
Well,
So-
thank you.
I wanted everybody to know. So, and I do have the phone number for that person on my phone. So what I'll do is see if maybe we could have the name and I can make a visit if that works. Think that works?
Yeah,
That sounds good. to me. Yeah,
fine with me, yeah.
Because
you.
I mean, they are,
sometimes education's the best thing.
right, and I've been on, I was at the Lake Association meetings, 2 meetings, and
Okay.
so they know me, so, hopefully they won't kill me
How often do they meet?
and
Yeah,
read,
First Tuesday of every month
Okay.
at
you'll be
Grandview.
reading me in the paper.
Yeah, first Tuesday every month at Grandview. And you can join for $100.
Okay, yeah.
I bought a sweatshirt.
So at this point now, with the committee, it's considered a committee
Yeah.
created, right? Is there a process? Now you folks have kind of,
So I'm just trying to wrap it up before I'm done. I'm just trying to get, I sent an email out asking for everybody for an appointee from the committees, and they've already given me the name. Her name's Donna. She's gonna come, she can't come to the next meeting, but she'll come to the one after that.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine what we'll do is we'll just get a group email for you guys together, a place where you can store some files, which I can take care of, and I will, that way you guys can start sending emails to each other to set up your first meeting.
All right.
so from that committee, I guess they'd have to kind of figure out a little bit of a structure,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you
Just
make
like
a chair and a secretary to take minutes, and you can record the meetings and we can get them up there too. And I don't know that, and they kind of figure out the best venture forward, and maybe just pick up items that are, what's a big issue right now? Let's get that issue out of the way and just
Right.
slowly pick away at things. But I think trying to consolidate really, this one was doing weed control, this one was doing testing here, the Lake Association was doing some testing here, beavers are a big deal. They got the beaver thing, so there's, which, conservation plays a role in, highway plays a role in.
Right.
As far as trapping, so, now there's more people in town that have trapping licenses, so there's more people that want to be involved. And I think
Right.
that,
It's interesting, from that book, Beaver Land, I got a book about beavers and what they do and how good they are, and what they are good, and they're not contaminators of the water,
Right.
actually, and they do a lot of good. They eat a lot of the plant growth and stuff like that. They will take down the trees but they don't eat them. They use them as,
Right.
they will take down.
the issue
young
is
trees.
the
They're
level of
making
the
the
lake.
water.
Yeah,
Right.
the level, like that.
Right, that's right, but there are things that you can do.
Right.
There are things that you can put under them and stuff like that.
Right, so I'll leave it for the Lake Association to retell that story, and they have these great ideas, and the beavers are so damn smart
They are,
that they just figure, because they try to do it so that they don't hear the water running, right? That's was the big thing. As soon as they hear the water running, they want to plug it up.
right,
Okay,
So they built these, they're just a pipe system that went under the beaver
Right.
dam and still allowed the water to continue to flow.
right,
Well, I guess the beavers have started to figure those suckers out. They've got them plugged out now too.
Right.
So it's fascinating to actually hear how these beavers, and the fact if you go and knock the dam down,
yeah.
within
Yeah,
a
they
day
do
or
that.
two, they'll
Yeah.
have it built and build it bigger,
yeah.
thinking that it got knocked down because it wasn't strong enough.
Stronger. Well, interesting. I mean, I would recommend that you read that book. Are you a reader
Yeah.
like read? Well, it's called Beaver Land.
Okay.
And it's really interesting, and it has so many things that you just never even knew about,
Are they active from a seasonal perspective?
No.
Well,
They're just all day.
All the time.
Yeah.
So up, so we go up North Ave and just as you cross into Upton, it's odd now, you can see like, the way we can see what like the hurricane ripped through and ripped all those trees down. There's that
Right.
pond there on the
Yeah,
right-hand side
yeah.
before you get
Right
to
after
Pleasant
the,
Street.
right after the school. I mean,
No, a little
right-
bit further down, just before you get to Pleasant Street, where there's the driveway double backs, you know where all the houses are high up on the hill?
Yeah,
If you just
Yeah.
pass there, there's river,
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
comes from the other side and we were riding four-wheelers and they went there, Tommy Smart's place. And the amount of trees these beavers have taken down, and it's funny, they're all just.
They're
points.
pointed out.
The points,
Yeah.
yep.
Right.
You can tell it, the shavings were all around,
Right.
it was amazing to see how many trees they had cut down,
right,
the beavers alone.
right.
Again, not that, I don't think that that's really much of a menace too, I mean, that's what they do, I mean,
Right,
but, I know that it's an issue with the lake.
yeah, well, because they were making the water come flood back up.
Exactly.
But again, what people say to me, oh, well, you know, they're dirty and they do that.
I don't think
Not
that's
so
right.
much.
No,
No,
they
they
live in
don't
that,
do that.
they live in that.
Yeah,
do we have an idea, out of curiosity, number wise, how many we've trapped, say, since the beginning of the year?
I don't know, but I've signed a lot of papers.
They want to check with the highway, and it's not just the lake, there's other places around too. Possible.
Is they want to buy the school?
Yes, they just got him.
Oh,
He was evasive.
the one, well, they
By
smart,
the pool, I mean, by the school.
they're smart. And that little one right after the school, that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, right, that's where they were.
That's where
trying to-
I thought there had to be a beaver there.
Yeah.
I said, there has to be a beaver in that thing.
Well, not no
Yeah.
longer.
No,
Relocation,
they're not relocating.
relocation.
They're not relocating.
I want to
Relocation.
They're not. But anyway.
But they are not being wasted. I know
No,
that for a
no,
fact.
me too. Pot roast is.
I
the
did not
last.
even hear the story. I'm like, Alan, that's too much information. You're done, go.
Well, you sent him to me and that's what he did. He sat there and told me about pot roast and
Nope, I'm good.
everything. And
like
if I
my-
get a pot roast, you're sharing it with me.
Now, I like my meat and cellophane in a little styrofoam tray. Thank you very much. All right, and the last update I have for the board is finally the hazardous waste day Clean Harbors has been scheduled for August 12th. We will have Clean Harbors and EL Heavy Shredding Day on August 12th.
August 12th, oh, good.
Okay,
So it'll be earlier this year,
Yes.
not November.
No, we tried for September, but it was a Saturday after Labor Day, which EL Harvey could not accomplish.
Oh,
And we wanted the shredding day and the
yeah.
Hazardous waste day on the same
all at
day.
one time, right?
and the ideal time frame, I think, ideal is probably September, because you have everybody back from vacation and
Right,
participation, but still, that's good. I'd rather sooner than
right.
push
back
it
in
out.
November.
Right. And speaking of hazardous waste, with regard to the financial support from EL Harvey. So there was an update on that?
We are getting two checks. They previously gave us 2018, 2019, 2020. They owe us for 21, 22.
Okay, so that's good. So that's part
That
of
was
what,
$9,000.
one of those added value adds.
9,000 total or 9,000?
9,000 total.
Yeah, they, as part of the contract, they were contributing $4,500 annually toward hazardous waste day.
Oh, nice.
So that's one
They're
of
gonna
those
continue to
value
do that?
adds.
What's that?
They'll continue to do that?
And well, we haven't seen a new contract.
We're assuming so.
I haven't heard of any,
But that's nice. I mean,
Modifications.
does that cover it?
Oh, God, yeah. Even our budget, like, I think we had budgeted for 10,000.
yeah, we were on the high side. I think on average, we probably go,
Six
we've
or
had a
seven.
couple of high years, but on average, maybe 6.
6 or 7. No more than 10.
So
Yeah, great.
at 4,500,
Helps a lot,
take care of most of it.
yeah.
No reason.
And everybody in the community benefits,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, so I'm just open to subscribers.
I don't have any hazardous waste.
And that's all I have for updates.
Okay, great,
Okay,
awesome. Anyone else have anything you want to add?
We are.
Karen's still there? Karen, do you have anything you want to add?
Left us.
Karen left.
I think Karen just left.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, oh, yeah, oh.
Well, I think at this point, we have a motion to
I
adjourn.
make motion that we adjourn.
Second, do I have to step down a second?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I have stepped down and second the motion. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much
Let's
for
go.
participating.
Want to schedule the
Good
next
job.
meeting?
Oh, schedule the next meeting.
2 weeks.
Well, it's automatic. We have an automatic schedule now, don't we?
Well, don't we have to tell people what it is?
We probably should, yeah. So our next meeting is
May 10th.
May tenth.
May tenth,
May tenth will be the next Board of Health meeting.
Oh,
7 p.m.
that'll be my last one.
PM.
My last official.
And is it gonna be hybrid or virtual only?
Well, we should kind of like to continue in person
Okay.
where we can. I know it's tough for Alan, what he does seasonally. But
But 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
It's my
seven.
golf time day.
I'll try to get into it or,
My golf day is that day. Yeah, but I can get back by,
Oh, do we want to do just 7? Was it 7:30 we did last year?
we made an adjustment at some point to
Right.
at
So what's
least
the adjustment?
move it out.
You want to do 7:30?
that would be
So
perfect.
so have you started the golf league already?
No, I'm starting May 1st.
Okay,
I know.
so
All right, so
we
7:30?
can go 7:30.
right, so
That
May
actually could
10th.
help
You
out.
sure?
May
Oh,
10th,
good.
7:30.
Thank
Well,
you.
too, excellent.
Thank you for that.
Till the clocks change.
Yeah,
All right.
good. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you all very much. Lonnie, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff, Jack.
The cookies were delicious.